So why is homesteading so enticing? Well, I think there are a lot of reasons why, but one of them is the idea of self-reliance. Now, truthfully speaking, I'm not a fan of using the word self-reliance, and that's where the twist comes in, which I will talk about a little bit more later in this video. Hi, I'm Katie, and if you are a beginner homesteader, then you should hit that subscribe button and journey with me as a beginner homesteader myself. Really, when you think about it, we have all the conveniences that we've ever had in the history of the world. So there's so many reasons why homesteading shouldn't be enticing, why we should want to make a ton of money and go out to eat all the time and buy fancy things and travel. There's just so many reasons why homesteading is kind of counterintuitive to being enticing, but it is. So the question is, why is it so enticing? And I think a lot of it has to do with this idea of independence. And I think independence is something that society often talks about and pushes out to the world. Ironically, though, their idea of independence is far different than what I would consider independence. And because I have so much to say about this topic as to why homesteading is enticing, I've decided to split it up into 6 different episodes. Check out the description below. I've listed them all out. So if any of them interest you, then hit that subscribe and bell and you'll be notified when I post the next topic in this series. And also, if you have any other ideas that can add to this series, drop it in the comments because I would totally be game if you have any other ideas to making a new episode on that topic. So when it comes to independence brought forth from society, I think a lot of it has to do with financial freedom, which is its own kind of independence. But the reality is, for that to be independence that you are succeeding at, you need to be working. You need to be working most likely for someone, because I would say the ratio of people that are employed by someone else versus working for themselves is definitely not an even distribution. I would say more people work for someone else than not. And the problem with that is anything can happen if you're working for someone else, whether the company ends up closing or they have major layoffs. And that's one thing I feel like COVID taught us, was just how fragile the working world really is. Now, and this is where the twist comes in, you can definitely say the same thing about homesteading. A natural disaster could hit, and if your main source of food was the food that you were growing, then you're out for the count. So for me, the idea of self-reliance, especially as a Catholic, is a little misleading because we can do nothing without God. And even if you're not a believer, I would still say that this idea still holds true for the reason that I mentioned about the natural disaster. Or even if, let's say, you are pregnant and you are having a child at a prime time where you would either be building up your garden, planting stuff or harvesting stuff and preserving it. There's that level of you can't do it by yourself. You need extra help. Now, I know I'm being black and white. I guess this is just my own internal battle with using the word self-reliance, because my thought process is words hold weight. They hold truth. And I feel like the word self-reliance is a little misleading. Like, I don't know if I fully support the word itself, but I do support the concept that it's trying to explain. This idea that we don't have to rely on our employer. We don't have to rely on the banks to keep our money safe. We don't have to rely on the other farmers to produce quality produce and goods, and for the distributors and the grocery store to keep all of the produce good and, or livestock or what have you. It's enticing to not need that chain of people. And believe me when I tell you, there is at least one of those people in that chain that are not trustworthy, or something could go wrong. So it's this idea that you are sufficient by yourself because you are doing exactly what you need to do without the help of all these other people in getting the food on your table. So if you agree with me, drop it in the comments if there's a word that could substitute or be substituted for the word self-reliance. I would like to hear what you have to say. I have a couple of words in mind, but I'm not quite sure which one really fits the concept that it tries to explain. But that is all I have for you in this episode. Definitely stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you then. Bye.